I understand that I wasn't expecting essays. Like I was expecting maybe just a little bit like, oh yeah, I don't like it because of this. You wrote a whole entire essay! Yo, what's up guys, it's Promise Reviews here and welcome back to my channel. Now again, before we get started, please make sure to like and subscribe, make sure to turn on post notifications so that way I don't miss any uploads that I do. And I really hope you guys do enjoy this video, so without further ado, let's get started. Now, a couple of days ago, I did do a community post on YouTube and on Instagram saying, name me your worst Studio Series figure that they ever made so far and why you were dissatisfied with it. Now, I did get a lot of comments and also a lot of essays, so there's that. But again, I'm really excited to see what your guys' opinion is on the worst Studio Series figure they've released so far. Now I know it hasn't been all fine and dandy for Studio Series, as there have been some really great figures and then there have been some really bad ones, and I mean really bad ones. And this time I came prepared. I got a little pad of myself, so this is actually really cool. Okay, let's go. Starting off with our first one here, we do have BQ. We're already starting. I hate Studio Series 53 Mixmaster. He can't stand at all. Now, yes, I do agree with you that Mixmaster isn't really the best constructed con that they've made so far. But you know what? It's not all that bad. Again, he was basically made just to combine Devastator. I'm glad that they focus on the robot mode to make it accurate, but there are some cons with the robot mode, but no one's gonna actually pose him in the robot mode. They're gonna make him into Devastator, so I think that's what they were trying to aim for that one. Pretty sure no one can disagree with this. Here we do have Bumblebee 1780 saying Studio Series 22 Dropkick, don't like it, not a fan of it, and I completely agree. Now, if it was just like a regular, like if they just named it a random Decepticon, okay, like we would be understandable with that, but the fact that that's Dropkick and that's the best that they did, not a fan of it at all. There's a reason why he's not even in my collection. Up next here we do have Tushgi. Out of my collection, probably Studio Series 75 Jolt is the worst. The kibble just makes the figure so bad and gives barely any articulation, and I can agree with that. I do think that Jolt, even though it is the best Jolt we've gotten, it's not the most perfect Jolt that we've ever gotten. The side of him, the panel are just unbelievable. The back kibble is insanely bad. The card mode looks good. It's just, I wish this figure was a lot more posable than what it was. I think it gave like, what, a 7 out of 10? I really wish they did him better, but you know what? It's the best version we got, and he's not really the worst, but it's alright. Riley says, probably Studio Series car mode Shatter. It was a terrible head detail. The legs are pain. The flaps on the backpack always fall off, and there's a reason why I got the jet mode and not the car mode. That Shatter is not the best whatsoever. Honestly, I didn't even know that was Shatter, and not just because of the head sculpt, it just didn't look that great. Now the car mode looks great, but the robot mode, that's where we started getting a little iffy with the figure. And you know what? Even though I don't have it, I have seen reviews on it, and it's not the best whatsoever. I really wish they did it better. But you know what? The jet version did a lot better. So there's that. Martin says Studio Series number 4 Ratchet lacks a lot of paint, especially on the head, and the legs are too loose. He can barely stand. I agree with you on some certain points. Now, the Ratchet figure actually looks good. It looks good. It looks accurate how he did in the film. But again, like you said, the legs are super duper loose. Oh, I know, you can fix it, I think, with a little bit of the white stuff, but it's not really like all that great still, because on my copy, tried that and he's still really loose, and you can just flop him around and the legs will be like everywhere, so there's that. I mean, it's not the best. The backpack's kind of, it gets in the way of articulation. I wish it wasn't there, but it's not a bad figure. Ninja_Turtle03 says, The Studio Series figure I was disappointed with is the Studio Series Rise of the Beast Air Razor, since when I took her out of the box, she had loose knee joints, loose shoulders, and a loose right wing. Now, I do agree that Air Razor isn't the best that they've ever made. Comparing it to the rest of the Maximals, she isn't really all that great. The robot mode looks alright, but again, we never got to see her in robot mode, so there's that. The alternative mode, which is like the bird mode, isn't really all that great either. I think she's my least favorite one, but I think it just has to do with the fact that you got a bad copy. Now, I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm saying that it was just unfortunate that out of all the Air Razors they probably had in the store, you just chose the bad one. And that happens to all of us, trust me. Happens to me when people actually get like really solid figures of that figure that I have, but mine is just the very loose copy. It sucks. It really does. Up next here we do have one from Bayformers. I love Studio Series Optimus Prime. From Dark of the Moon, it made me a Transformers fan, but I don't have it though. Well, I'm glad you like it. Who wants to tell him? My least favorite is the Studio Series Gamer Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper. The mold I got broke on my first time transforming it, and the head has popped off every time I tried to use it. I can see your point. The Cliff Jumper transformation is not bad, but it's just not the most fun, and you do feel like you're gonna break stuff. And I really wish that they found a better way. Like, these new molds are really cool and sick, and I do quite like it, but I just wish that they weren't so small. Maybe like a tall deluxe, or maybe like in the brink of being a Voyager, but that wouldn't make sense if Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper being a Voyager, if Optimus Prime is a Voyager. So I really wish that there was a way they could have made him just a little bit taller, but one I'm most disappointed in is the Studio Series 101 Scourge. When I first seen his truck mode on set and later seen the robot mode in the teaser, I was extremely excited for the Studio Series figure. But Hasbro had to screw it up by basing it on the concept art design, making it completely inaccurate to how he looks in the movie, and the vehicle mode was lazy and many inaccuracies, and the fact that I have to agree with you, Scourge is not my favorite of being a leader whatsoever. I, again, was expecting the same thing as you, expecting him to be almost accurate to how he looked in the film, but the fact that they did it on concept art really downgraded this figure a lot. Now, we are getting the DNA uppercut, which basically almost like 80% fixes his figure. Again, the shoulder pads do, like, I still wish that there was a way to fix that, but now the DNA upgrade kit will fix that. I just wish that they would have done this from the start and not really focus on the concept art. It just sucks that Scourge got treated like it, so. I have to say Studio Series 80 Bumblebee, his car version just looks really goofy. Just give me one second. John_Gotcha says, Studio Series 02 Stinger. Transformation isn't fun, the quality is awful, and the proportions are whack. And I do agree that Stinger isn't the best Studio Series figure, but I think it's not the worst. I do think that this figure does look cool. It does look like, it doesn't look as accurate as he did to the movie, but it's still a really good looking figure in my opinion. Honestly, he's not one of the worst for me. I think that figure is actually underrated. The alternate mode looks phenomenal. I kind of agree, disagree, but I can see your point on that one. Guardian_Prime_ says crosshair. Crosshair. Right. It just didn't feel good, nor did it pose well, and the terrible backpack legs are awful. I do agree that this Crosshairs was not the best, and honestly, I did kind of have it in a little bit of high expectations. It just didn't fulfill that. I do wish that Crosshairs wasn't as bad as it is. He is not posable whatsoever, at least in my opinion. Doesn't have no basically anything. I mean, he looks accurate to how he did in the last night, but the backpack is horrible. The legs aren't really all that great, and there's a reason why I haven't reviewed him yet. Is because I've had a hard time reviewing that figure. Maybe in the later future. I do have the figure. Look, I can even prove it to you. if you haven't watched my collection video yet, please be sure to go watch it. Here he is. Look, he looks good he looks good. But once you start messing with this guy, you see all the cons that he's saying, and he's right. Even though the head sculpt looks amazing, focus amazing, just doesn't. He's not the best. Nick's Plastic Shelf says, Gamer Edition Megatron. The cannon is garbage, knees are garbage, and its backpack is garbage. I agree that this figure is not the best whatsoever. I don't know what they were thinking about the knee. I don't know who approved of his knees not being able to bend. Now I know there is a way, but why do we gotta do that? Why do we gotta go to that length to try to make him have bendable knees? He should already have bendable knees. Like, that is probably the worst thing that they've ever done, especially on the leader of the Decepticons, Megatron. Now I get if it was Barricade or whatever, but this is Megatron we're talking about. The cannon is not great whatsoever. The cannon is bad. It's really bad. I don't know what they were thinking with the cannon. It just doesn't look right now. It looks good in his tank mode, but in robot mode, does not do him justice whatsoever. I really wish they did this Megatron better. I do have the figure. I'm not getting rid of him because he is Gamer Edition Megatron. I do love that design. I just wish they did him better. I think the knees and the cannon are what killed it for this figure. He's not that posable with that full 90-degree at the knees. So, he only has 25-degree angle, so. Why Megatron? 555 Sam the Man 555 says World War II Bumblebee lacks clearance for the articulation, looks nothing like the movie model. Now, I do wish that this figure was done right because I do like the World War II Bumblebee design. I don't like the movie, I just like the design. Now, when they showed off Studio Series the World War II Bumblebee, it actually didn't look that bad in person, but once you took it out, you saw that huge backpack, and the fact that his alternate mode looks nothing like it did in the film. I don't know what they were thinking. Now, there is a way to take off his backpack, and it makes him look 100 times better. And that's going to be a long peg in the very, it's like a long shiny peg in the very back. I just basically took that off, and now the risk is that I'm not going to be able to transform this figure ever again into the vehicle mode. But then again, I never really cared about the vehicle mode. I only care about the robot mode in that figure. And honestly, it looks way better in my opinion. I really do like that he looks more sleek, he looks more clean, and not as backpack heavy as he and Hot Rod did. I did the same thing with Hot Rod. Again, the only thing is that I won't be able to transform these guys again, but I really didn't care. These figures, I just like their design, and I really wish it was this way and not the way that they did it with like the huge backpack. But yeah, those were a lot of great opinions. I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. Again, I do like doing these type of videos with you guys. I do like interacting with you guys, and I love doing community posts where we get to talk about this, because then we get to see all of our takes on what we feel like are the worst Studio Series figures they made and why we disliked it. Again, sorry if you weren't picked. I really hope that I do get to pick you next time. But yeah, I really hope you guys did this video. If you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to turn on post notifications so that you guys don't miss any uploads that I do. And yeah, I really do think that Studio Series is doing a good job. Not a great job. Again, they do make some outstanding figures, but then there's some that they just lack on, and those are some figures that we have to wait for DNA upgrade kits so that way they can fix it. I don't know why they don't just do it the first time, but it's alright, you know. Again, at the end of the day, we're all Transformers fans and we all have our own opinions, and I really hope that you can all respect our own opinions. Now, what is my least favorite? Does it even need to be said? Does it even need to be? It's been Promise Reviews. Remember to stay calm and keep moving on, so I'll make sure you guys all in the next one. Till all are one. Bye!